I wish to call the meeting of the December Public Safety Committee to order. And it's good to see each and every one of you that are here in person tonight, and those of you that are in attendance by Zoom. Appreciate your attendance this evening. Wish to make this statement as the beginning. This meeting of the Public Safety Committee is being conducted electronically pursuant to Governor Bill Lee's Executive Order 16. I would ask for a motion that conducting the meeting electronically is necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare in light of the coronavirus. Do I have that motion?
I so move.
The motion's been made by Commissioner Serino. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Commissioner Rather, please call the roll.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Serino? Commissioner Serino?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
And Chairman Reed.
Yes. Thank you. At this time, we'll ask for a motion for the approval of our minutes. Do I have that motion, Mr. Vice Chairman?
Yes, sir. I make the motion.
Okay, we have the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Commissioner Rather, call the roll.
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Serino?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. Okay, before we get into the different departments' reports and the business of the evening, I would like to make a statement concerning what went on Christmas Day when most people were enjoying their families or dealing with the festivities of the holiday. I just want to say thank you to all our departments that I know where you spent Christmas Day, a lot of you. A lot of you were having to deal with the fact that there were no phone lines, there was no people available to answer some calls that were coming in due to the bombing that happened in Nashville. We had 911 that was out. I do know we had people that was dealing with our EMT, our Sheriff's Department, all our public safety was involved in that, and you spent a long Christmas Day helping the people of Rutherford County. And I want to let you know it was appreciated. I know we had fire calls. I think we were fairly loaded on that. I know we had a house fire. I think we had a water rescue. Wasn't that right, Chief? At that time, too. So just want to say thank you for the efforts that you did there. This whole thing has been something that we've had to deal with, just as our public has. You know, it wasn't the fact that we just didn't have internet or television, whatever. We were dealing with the lives of Rutherford County and what it involved there. Even dealing with solid waste on Saturday and Sunday. We realized on Saturday we had no way to communicate with all of our 14 convenience centers across the county, because Saturday was the largest collection of waste in Rutherford County we have is right after Christmas. That's when everybody's wrappings and everything's come to those centers. And you have to continually call for help to take off those compactors and things to get that back and forth and refill, because all those convenience centers are backed up. We had no way to communicate with those people out there. And I'll say special thank you to Peter Rogers when Mac Nolan contacted him, said we need help some way. And Peter said, I really don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something. And by lunchtime or after lunch, he come up with 14 radios, handheld radios, and a central receiver where they could communicate back and forth for those 2 days and work together where we can keep those things going. So it's been a total group effort by our departments, and I just want to say thank you. I think you need to be recognized for that effort. And Mayor, I do think that it's appreciated by the people out there and what they have done.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's entirely right. It was a team effort on behalf of all first responders from Laverne, Smyrna. Everybody came together. By the time that we started losing all of our signals, when Chris Clark called me, he said, "Mayor, we've got a problem." I said, he said, "I'm going over to open up the EOC." And I said, "I'm on my way. Let me brush my teeth." Put a hat on because I still had bad head at that time. And I said, "I'll meet you there." And people started rolling in, and it was some tense moments because all of our PSAPs were down. We had no way to identify any phone call coming in. If you were having a heart attack, house burning, anything else, it was scary in some tense times. But we got it all worked out, and thankfully, hopefully we didn't lose anybody during that period of time. But it was a team effort throughout the whole county, and so my hat's off to every frontline official that worked, whether it's your EOC or wherever, they had to be deployed throughout the county. So we were Rutherford strong. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and you are appreciated. Do want to say that. We'll begin this evening with the Recovery Court report.
As you can see, the month of November saw 13 new participants admitted into our recovery court. We also graduated 5 participants in the month of November. As a response to the current COVID numbers, our office is appointment only, so all of our clients are coming in by appointment only, and all of our classes are being conducted virtually or online. We are still having business every day. In fact, our judges are coming over and we are doing drive-through court on our front awning. So the judges will be standing outside in the coming weeks and clients will be coming through drive-in and continuing to have the court hearings. We do not intend to ever stop doing that and making sure that our clients are safe and that their families feel supported so that we can try to maintain sobriety and stability for them. As far as things that we have seen trending, this is a time where a lot of our clients have been isolated, and we're seeing more and more people relapse, and typically that's going to be on your opiates and your methamphetamines and some alcohol. We're addressing that and getting people into treatment. Thank goodness we have a lot of community providers in our area that have open beds for some of our clients and are bending over backwards to get them in to get them help when we need them. So we're working very hard over at Recovery Court.
Okay, thank you. Have any questions on this report? Anyone?
Motion to approve the report.
Motion made by Commissioner P. Do we have a second?
Good.
Second, Commissioner Shanto. Call the roll.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner P.,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherino,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, probation report. Good evening.
I also have a budget amendment too.
Okay, we'll take that after your report, and if that'll work.
That sounds good. To start off, I just wanted to share as far as November goes. As I've discussed before, we have the Olive Branch that's part of our program, where we use that as an outreach to those that we serve. Over Thanksgiving, we actually were able to feed 5 families. We did deliveries of those meals to those families that couldn't get out or maybe didn't have the funds for that. So I just wanted to share a little good news with that. 5 families is quite a bit for what we were dealing with, so that was something I wanted to share. To start off with our November report, our total expenditures for the month of November was $115,464.88. Total collections from the circuit and general sessions clerks combined was $5,146.15. Our total revenue was $19,944.39. Our total with the deducted expenditures for the month of November gave us a difference of $95,470.49. The amount of money in probation fees that was turned over to the clerk's office for the month of November totaled $18,264.25. Those that failed to enter a VPA with the clerk's office totaled $13,300. So far this fiscal year, we've turned over $65,708.75 to the clerk's office to be collected. And then those that have failed to enter a payment agreement so far for this fiscal year total $61,337.75. And that would be my November report.
Okay. Any questions on the report?
Move to approve.
Had a motion from Commissioner Phillips to approve. Got a second? Joe
Second.
Gurley?
It was Joe Phillips, second.
Okay, thank you. Keep me straight over here, Madam Secretary. All right, call the roll.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. And I believe you have a budget amendment.
Next, I have a budget amendment to move money from the general fund to cover our rental expenses. Our current rent is $8,500 a month. Tentatively, we were hoping to move in the month of November and not have to pay that $8,500 a month to lease our building that we're currently in. So this money, in addition, would be an increase of $18,500 in order to cover the rental expenses. As of now, we kind of discussed, and I believe it may vary at the end of April or beginning of May, and this would cover the rental expenses through the end of that time.
Mr. Chairman.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We talked about that this morning when she shared with me that she's going to be short, because back probably this time last year, we were anticipating the move into 20 North. Thought we might be in by February. It's not going to happen, so it took some time to get everything started over there. I have re-signed the commitment lease agreement with the folks where she's currently located on West Main that will take us through May 1. So hopefully this money will get us through, and maybe we can get in by early April. You know, it just depends. They did all the demolition on the 3rd floor for the district attorney's office, and they're just about done on the 4th and 5th floor upstairs. Working on 1st and floor for her right now. For listeners, so this money will be there. If we don't use it, then it will come back to the general fund, whatever we don't use. But this will just cover her rent.
Okay. Any discussion? You've heard an explanation and the budget.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner
Second.
Gammon has made the motion to approve. Do I have the second?
Second.
Commissioner Phillips is second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Gurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. All right, thank you. Correctional Work Center report.
You have our submitted report for this month, and not a lot of significant changes. Our population is still staying about the same. We would like to mention that we have 0 cases of COVID currently, knock on wood, with our inmate population and our staff. Still staying pretty busy out there. Wanted to echo a little bit about what was talked about last month as far as the litter problem that we have. I just wanted to give you a little example. We were given a call about Veals Road last week sometime, and that road is pretty short there. I don't know if you know very much about that, but it's a relatively short road, and we went out there and it was a lot worse than what we even imagined. So we sent a special crew of our most well-behaved residents out there to clean it up. But needless to say, on that short span of road, we got 70 bags of garbage and nearly 1,400 pounds off that short little road there. And it included everything from household garbage that was piled up, just someone had taken it and just dropped it off on the side of the road, to we got 3 mattresses off of that road, like some sort of fiberglass that someone had just dumped out there. So I mean, it's a huge problem. I know it's come up in the past couple months, but it's not getting any better out there. And that short little road there, 70 bags and 1,400 pounds is a lot. So I just want to give you a little example of what we're finding out there. And we've got about 3 crews that are going out daily between the interstates and then our state and county roads picking up litter. And it's staying pretty consistent. Other than that, that's our report for the month.
Okay, sir. Any questions, Superintendent Cope?
Just one comment, Mr. Chairman.
Mayor?
Just for the members of this committee, please take note of what Director Cope Superintendent Cope's telling you. We'll be going back to Public Works Committee for those that are on there, and for the rest of the commissioners, we're going to be trying to increase our fine for littering in Rutherford County. We've got to put some teeth into it. $25 and $50 is just not making it. And as our county continues to grow, it's just going to get worse as they're finding, and they don't want to stand in line. They don't want to, go to the convenience center, so they're just going out in the country and dumping. And if we don't get a handle on it now, and it may be something we have to talk about when we get into the budget process of, we used to have Mr. Smith was our wheel tax officer, and he did give fines. We're going to have to identify some way to start giving some fines to these people. But a lot of people have cameras today that we didn't have years ago that they can start taking. If there's some way we can work this out, but it's important, and they're now beginning to see it. And you've got 2 crews.
We've got 3
crews,
and 5 days a week.
And he's taken the some of the female population out, and we've been getting good feedback from that because you've been working them on the interstate exchanges, so they're very visible out there working, picking up the trash. But you go out there 2 days later, and they're having to do it again.
We could literally work 24 hours around the clock, and it would.
Yeah,
it's the same thing every day.
We've got to start putting some sting into this of people who just are nasty.
And as long as as long as we're picking it up, people are going to throw it out there.
Yeah.
A lot of what we found on those county roads, the interstates, a lot of that's blowing off of trucks and whatnot, but the county roads and our state roads, we're finding a lot of household garbage out there. It's bagged up the whole bit. And I think if we did have someone who, could take the time to investigate a little of that like we used to with BART, I think we could at least, it could be a deterrent. But right now there is not. There's no deterrent at all.
Yeah, there's nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions anyone might have? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion, Commissioner Rather, have a second.
Second.
Second, Joe Gurley. please call the roll.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. Thank you, sir. All right, next report, juvenile detention report. Ms. Duke.
Good evening. You have in front of you our November report. We have a minor change in the amount received. We currently do not have any counties that have outstanding bills. Tipton County paid their August bill in October, and it was not included on that report. So we are our billed year-to-date and our received year-to-date is all good, but the change from this report and last month involved that Tipton County, and that was just an oversight. Beyond that, I'll happily answer any questions from the remaining part of the report. And then I also have a detention contract tonight as well. I don't know if that made it to the agenda or not, but I do have that if we can discuss
White
that.
County?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it made it.
Very end of her documents.
All right, on the report, any questions on the report for Ms. Duke? If not, we
Motion
will-
to approve the report.
We have the motion from Commissioner P. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Commissioner Sereno, call the roll.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino,
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. Now I believe you have a contract from White County, correct?
So I was contacted by White County several months ago. They ran the concept through their county. They wanted to have another alternative to where they could place their young folks that need detention beds. They're having a hard time getting in the facility that they were currently using. Told them it would take a little bit to get it in front of our committee process. So this is the same contract that you've seen before, approved by the county attorney. Same amount, $175 a day per child. And it includes the amendment that has the PREA language that we need to have on it.
We have a contract here in dealing with White County. That's the home county of former Representative Charles Curtis.
Charlie Curtis.
Yeah, many of the commissioners know Charles. All right, we have a motion to approve this contract.
Move
So
to
moved.
approve, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Phillips, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Rather, call the roll.
Commissioner Gurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Paul's report. Did you have a lot of animals adopted for Christmas?
We did. We had 18 animals in the shelter when I left, which is excellent. So for the month of November, we had 408 animals enter into the shelter, 444 that went out. You can see our live release rate was 93.2% for dogs, 95% for cats, and overall 93.2%. We had 1,668 calls received at the shelter, and the officers completed out 1,720, and they traveled 11,848 miles. Fiscal year to date, our live release rate, which is the main thing that we look at, is 92.7% since July the 1st. Our officers have closed out 8,296 calls, traveling almost 63,000 miles. Our November bite report, we had 32 bites that were reported. None of those were sent for testing. We had 8 other exposures. 2 of those were sent for testing, and neither came back as positive. The last page of your report is just the visual graph showing you all the live release rate versus the euthanasia rate and other outcomes.
Okay. I believe you've got a budget amendment
Yes, sir.
coming up later. On the report, any questions on the report?
Move to approve the report.
Joe Gurley makes the motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Commissioner Gammon, call the roll.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherino,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Gregory?
Yes, sir. Our budget amendment, the first one is we're asking to take $700 from our Paul's donation line and $1,800, which is our revenue from the Animal Friendly grant for this year, and move that over into drugs and medical supplies. The $700 was a donation made specifically for heartworm treatments. The second part of the budget amendment is asking to take $6,500 from our Paul's donation line and appropriate $2,500 into animal food and supplies and $4,000 into other supplies and materials. All the national organizations and everybody's saying that after the first of the year, we're going to start seeing more and more issues related to COVID and pet retention, and we're trying to position ourselves so that we have some funding available there to help get through and help some folks out versus bringing the animals into the shelter. Mark over at Finance said that if we don't use that money, I need to keep up with that like I would a grant. If it's not used, we can put that back in the donation line. We just want to make sure we're prepared in case.
A good idea. I move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I'll
Motion to
second.
approve. And I got a second. Commissioner Gurley. Call the roll.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherino,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, we also have on the
Thank you.
in our packet of our rules and regulation changes.
Okay.
If you'll recall back, I think it was in the August or September meeting, Commissioner Gurley had motioned and asked us to review our dangerous dog ordinance and add some language to where it would potentially take care of animals that would bite on their owner's property. We did some research, looked at several different counties, spoke with the county attorney's office, several different occasions there, and we liked a lot of the language that was in the Knoxville ordinance. So we came back and we added a couple of different definitions. We also added that if an animal, when unprovoked while on the property of its owner, has attacked a person 2 or more occasions for potentially dangerous and 3 or more occasions for dangerous dog, then we could pursue those type cases. That would take care of a situation that we had previously, but it also made it to where not every case would be potentially dangerous dog case, so that we were making sure that we were financially responsible. While we had the changes going about and we had the county attorney's office involved as well, we cleared up some grammatical errors. We also had never put anything in our rules and regulations regarding our trap, neuter, release, and community cat programs, so we put those things in there as well to kind of get all that done at one time. So I'm happy to answer any questions. You all had a copy of it beforehand for review, so it's not a surprise for this evening as well.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes, from the beginning, I asked for this to be done in a diligent manner, to take the time and do the research and so on needed to make this a good change in the rules. This was started as a result of an incident that happened within my district when one of my constituents, who was the victim, reached out to me, and I would like to compliment Michael and our attorney for, I think, going the extra mile and really spending time researching this, and I would urge you to vote for it.
Is that a motion, Joe?
I was going to say. is
I
that
will
the
make a motion to that.
So you're making
I'll
a
second it.
motion. And I think we had a second up there from Commissioner Sereno, is that right?
Phillips.
It's hard to tell looking at this screen right here. I mean, I feel like I'm at The Price is Right or
I
something.
think it was Phillips.
Commissioner Phillips, second.
Okay. Any further discussion on this? Everybody had plenty of time to look at this and? Okay, call the roll. Wait a minute, Commissioner Gammon?
It's not an issue. I just had one question. I ran across it. It's under, let's see, general duties of owners and keepers of animals, but maybe it's been here before. I've not read it, but it says the sale or giving away of animals on public property shall be unlawful for any person to sell, give away dogs, cats, puppies, kittens on roadsides, sidewalks, outdoor commercial area, including parking lots or public property within the county. Does that include like at Target and everything, all that?
Yes, that was put in there. That was in there before I came. When I was at Bedford, we actually put that language, the exact same language into ours there. Yes, that was
Hadn't seen it before.
Yes, that was to try to prohibit folks from giving away sick and injured animals at Walmart, Target, all those type places.
Still doing it, but.
There's no way for us to enforce that other than if folks call and let us know, then we can go out. But to my knowledge, we've not had any calls on that in quite some time. Yes, sir. We don't have the manpower to go over there and patrol those parking lots, every day to look for that. But if somebody did.
I don't personally have a problem with it. It's just a lot of people get their animals that way, but some people feel different, I guess.
Yeah, the biggest issue that we had seen with those type things is folks would get animals from those parking lots having no medical care. They would be sick when they got them, and then they would want to try to bring them to the shelter. That's the reason we implemented it when I was at Bedford. I can't tell you why it was implemented initially here, but that was why we did there and continued on here. Yes, sir.
Anything else anyone may have? If not, we'll call the roll.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. Has that got you?
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Sheriff's report.
Okay, before we start, I'd like to announce that Raymond Shue, one of our dispatchers, lost his fight with cancer on Christmas Day. So I'd like for y'all to remember him and the family in prayers. We have no budget amendments of this. I have reviewed the budget report and find that I don't see anything where we are in a problem area whatsoever.
Okay, sir. Any questions anybody has in this report?
Motion to approve.
Have the motion to approve. And we have the second.
Second.
Commissioner P. Call the roll.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner P, Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Okay, on the COVID report, we have had since the beginning 81 of our employees that have tested positive during this time frame since about March 1st to present. Presently, I've got 5 employees that are out with that have tested positive with COVID at present, and they're out of work right now. Inmate-wise, right now I've got 1 inmate out of 658 at the jail that has tested positive and is isolated. Since beginning, we've had 116 inmates that have tested positive, and that's out of 1,901 tests. So that's where we stand at present on COVID.
Anyone have any questions on COVID? Report.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate the job you're doing. Public Safety Director report. Evening, sir.
I have the report provided. I believe it's on your computers. Last time I came to this committee, COVID has gone up, 911 has gone down. There's been a whirlwind of activity since we've last met. We have identified a site for our COVID vaccinations. With public health, we assisted them and provided coordination during the move for the vaccinations, which is at Siegel High School for the 1A1, which is healthcare providers and first responders. We've also coordinated with all entities within the county with first responders and how we were going to shuffle those personnel into that wanted those vaccinations. We've been very successful in that event. We've had great cooperation with all the partners. During the holidays, of course, the chairman and the mayor has mentioned that we had a 911 incident with the bombing that occurred in Nashville. Without any alarms going off, we determined that we've had a failure, and everybody came together to make that, make an alternate numbers to, for callers that need help. Approximately 6 p.m. that evening, we were able to reroute 911 to a different number so that callers could still use 911, and that is effective today. It still continues. We're having some difficulties. The administration lines have come up. However, it's difficult. We cannot call out on those administration lines. But 911 is functioning. We do not have the anti-alley or what gives their location. So the callers are going to have to be precise in where their location is. We don't have any of those identifiers. I'll be honest with you, I've done this for over almost about 30 years now. I've never seen that occur. And with swift action, all of our partners came into the EOC to fix a problem, and we were able to do so in a timely manner. As far as COVID-19 is concerned, our PPE process has changed. TEMA provides a code for each entity, and they can order their own. We continue to provide for Rutherford County government, and we've been doing so for some time now. COVID went up. We've monitored our hospitals. We've been in contact with the CEOs of each facility and monitoring their population. At one point in time, it was a third of their population in the St. Thomas Rutherford. However, that number has gone down pretty drastically in the last few days. We do anticipate some increase due to Christmas holidays, and we are somewhat prepared for that. However, we still monitor that very, very closely. I'd like to give kudos to my staff. There's just 3 other ones in the building along with our radio maintenance, and it's been very challenging for our staff along with grants that approximately a little over, I guess, $30 million worth of grants that we're processing through there, and there's just 4 of us inside there. So without our partners, EMS, fire provides logistics for public health and making sure they're fueled up. EMS is making sure that they have some medical staff there. We've had Murfreesboro participate, Smyrna, Laverne has all helped. And we're kind of surrounding public health and supporting them. It's definitely been a whirlwind. To our people that worked out on Christmas Day, and Christmas Eve. We provided vaccines on Christmas Eve, and we also had our 911 dilemma on Christmas Day. Nobody ever stopped, and it's greatly appreciated. We also provided a incident command workshop, which we've never done before. And we brought in our potential commanders or our commanders of our scenes, and we talked through some of the different incident command system and review and talked about certain things. And it seemed like it generated a healthy conversation and how we can work together better as one instead of isolated departments. I guess that's my report. I'll take on any questions.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. P.
Yeah, what is the status on those overturned rail cars in Murfreesboro?
Emergency management did not receive any notification on those rail cards. And I'm not sure the process of that. I had the same question through TEMA. I saw it on Facebook. So I do not know the process of that.
So we don't know if those tankers have been uprighted and moved out and we don't have a hazard there.
I have no status.
That all went through Murfreesboro, didn't it?
Correct.
Sounds to me like we need to communicate with Murfreesboro a little bit better if we don't know.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Commissioner Gurley?
I'd like to make two comments. One on the, likewise saw it on Facebook. When I saw it, it brought back memories of Waverly, which I was involved with. For those who don't know what happened in Waverly, in February of 1978, a propane tank car blew up. It killed my coworkers, it killed other people I knew, and injured a lot more. It destroyed the downtown, a part of Waverly, much like the blast Christmas morning destroyed 2nd Avenue. So yes, I think we do need to, and I would encourage anyone from involved with Murfreesboro to let other agencies know, let everybody know, because that is a potentially serious thing. And yes, we are much better equipped than we were 40-something years ago in terms of protocols and how to handle that. All of our public safety, as a result of that, are much better trained. So I'm grateful for that. On a second note, if y'all have been taking note of what's going on, I stopped by EMA here a couple of weeks ago, and the amount of work, I helped them offload a van of PPE. The amount of work that's going on there and the number of people. Our next door neighbor county of Williamson has many less people than we do, yet about 4.5 times the personnel in their agency. So I think, and I'm talking to my fellow committee members, as well as any other commissioners that are listening, that we need to seriously consider increasing staff in that department, because COVID is not the only potential thing that we can have. Disasters happen periodically, and we need to be prepared for those disasters. So as we go into a new budget cycle, think about this seriously and start thinking about what we need to do in terms of increasing staffing, because I don't really know how the people are working there. Having worked there 4 years, and with more and more people coming to Rutherford County, I really don't know.
Thank you, Commissioner. Other comments? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve this report?
So moved.
Commissioner Rather, do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Phillips. Call the roll.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Sharino,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Ambulance?
Chairman, I'm going to let the ladies go first.
Okay. Reed?
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to provide a few updates for the medical examiner death investigation side of EMS. In November, we had 87 reports or cases under investigation. 24 autopsies were sent to the Regional Forensic Center. We did have a tox-only case for a case that did not reach the threshold for full autopsy that we were able to perform toxicology only on. So that was a saving of approximately $2,000 for the county. In December, we have had 86 cases investigated to date. 17 autopsies ordered to date, and we've also been able to perform 8 toxicology-only cases for those cases that did not reach the threshold for autopsy, but we have traditionally sent in for autopsy, so that was a savings of about $16,000 for the county. We are continuing on with our grant administration. We have had a little bit of a hold-up or a delay in being able to distribute those funds and start spending those funds as we had hoped. This is not on our side. It is actually on the Bureau of Justice's administration or assistance of the grant administration. They seem to have had a little bit of a hold up with their software, so we're waiting for that to clear, but we're confident that that should be happening within, hopefully by the new year. So that has held us up a little bit, but we are going forward with the RFP for the exam room. As I reported last month, unfortunately we didn't get any bids on that first invitation. Appears that we've had a lot more interest this time round, so I am hopeful that we will have some bids to review at our purchasing committee meeting. So the bids are due by January 19th by 4 p.m. at the Mayor's office. So we're a little bit more excited at this time round. In regards to the classes for the medical examiner investigators, we are continuing on with that program. Pleased that we are having a joint agency class next month. So next week we will be having a class that is being taught by Detective Brinkley from the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and a co-instructor being Detective Keeves with Laverne Police Department. Both of them are experts in evidence collection and photography and scene response, so they are going to teach us a photography class. We were able to purchase cameras now for our investigators, so we'll start introducing photography in our scene reports in the very near future. And that's all I have. Is there any questions for the medical examiner side?
Thank you.
One of our paramedic ones has completed all requirements to become a paramedic 2, which means he has completed his critical care paramedic course as well as his rapid sequence intubation or RSI certification. We are requesting to raise his pay from a paramedic 1 to a paramedic 2. This will not affect our budget. It isn't a budget amendment. We do have the funds available. The position number is 1782, and that would make his pay grade go from a 29 to a 31, which would be approximately $2,000 a year. So this year it would be $1,000.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to approve. Got a second from Commissioner Gammon. Any discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Sharino,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Gurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
and Chairman Reed.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, on the 911 side of the business, we did 3,257 911 calls, 80 hospital transfers, leaving us a total of 3,337 calls. Our response time has increased a little bit to 6.8. We had 87 deaths. We received $2,175 for those. 24 of them were sent for autopsy. And excuse me, I've just sat here and lost my train of thought. Year to date on those payments is $47,040. Year to date, we have done 158 autopsies and we've paid $309,680. I do want to point out, since Denise has started her program, counting part of this month, we've saved the county close to $24,000. So that's working. I see this improving, and I'm very proud of what she's accomplished with this. Okay, we've billed $1,319,765. Total collections is $657,074. Year-to-date collections at $3,660,937, and projected collections are at $8,786,249. Got a 72% collection rate. Insurance write-offs were $406,477, and other write-offs were $114,450. Correction, $550. And over the next page, you can see Denise is, as far as in services, has had her classes, and we're still continuing the CPR classes. And and you'll see also the public relations side, even with the COVID stuff, that side of the ambulance services staying very active and busy. Okay, on the convalescent side, we had 411 calls. We had to decline 76. Total billed was $280,164. Total collections is $80,426. Year-to-date collections are at $524,913. Projected collections is at $1,259,791. Got a 61% collection rate. Insurance write-offs are at $149,227, and other write-offs are $760. And on the next page, I always tell you how many thank you notes, but very seldom do I ever read them out loud. But this is from Miss Maddie Barkley. She's not a patient. She is just somebody who sent us a note, and I think it's very appropriate. And it was very uplifting to our paramedics and EMTs at the service. And I just want to read it out loud real quick. It said, Rutherford County EMS, thank you so much for all you do for this county. You sacrifice a lot to keep us safe, and it does not go unnoticed. Keep up the great work, and don't be discouraged by any hateful people. And I think that goes for all of the public safety, not just EMS, but fire, police. They've all been beat up pretty bad. And I wished I knew her so I could reach out to her. I thought it was a very nice note that she sent. Also got a thank you note from the couple ladies at the Sheriff's Department when we helped with the trick-or-treat over to the Sheriff's Office back in Halloween. We have a update on a patient that we flew out with Vanderbilt Live Flight. And I'd also like to congratulate Tara Melton and Sophie Fuller, paramedics on the truck, and dispatcher Kayla Farrick for receiving the Walmart Sam's Club Lifesavers Award. And you'll see a brief story about the call, and it actually happened at Eagleville, and it was a very good outcome, and a very interesting little article there, and I hope you'll read it. And on the next page is their pictures. And that's my report, sir.
Okay, sir. Any questions anyone may have?
Motion to approve the report.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Gurley,
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Thank you. Just real quick, I'd just like to thank Commissioner Gammon for the 15 phone calls he gave me Christmas Eve. So I missed them the last night, so maybe you'll push the button again. So.
You know, as been mentioned by these individuals here about the toxology and what we have seen here tonight and the savings we got, when we get this exam room completed, you can imagine what this is going to do for us and save here in the county too, because I've seen the direction it's going and what has been presented there, and I think it's going to be something great that'll really help us out and something that'll move us forward there. And maybe someday when a forensic center comes available too, we'll be way ahead of everyone else across the state. But thank you for the report. Okay, I believe we got fire and rescue. They picked the coldest day of the year to our water rescue, I believe, didn't you?
Well, it's been a busy weekend. We got a call Christmas Eve, is a Thursday afternoon. Some ladies were out watching the water where it rolled up, and the dam was rolling pretty good. And they said they thought they seen a body floating down the river, went over the dam and up on the bridge. So we deployed out there with the Murfreesboro at the same time. My shift commander took command, and we did a search. We put in at Mona Boat Ramp and walked back this way, and then we walked from Walt Hill to Mona without finding anything. The lady's description, what she gave, was very credible. So it was getting dark fairly quickly by the time we made that search. So Friday morning, Christmas morning, our guys got up, got their boats out at 16 degrees that morning, and got on the water and ran the river up and down trying to see if we could locate anything. And so we didn't find anything, but our guys weren't even aware of the situation that happened in Nashville because of what they've been out there that early. Sunday turned out to be very interesting with what was going on on Lebanon Highway with the gentleman who thought it would be a good idea to play his PA system. While our guys were out there, we had to call in another shift commander because we had about 5 or 6 brush fires that afternoon. And so it's been pretty hectic all weekend. We've had, out of 50 personnel, we've had 14 people out with COVID. I've got 3 people currently out right now, so it's kind of eating into our overtime fairly well. For the month of November, we had 8 structure fires, 8 vehicle fires. We ran 280 medical calls. We had a total of 59 MVAs. 39 of those were with injury. 20 were without injury. No extrications. For a total call volume of 531 calls. Year to date for Rutherford County Fire Rescue, we've had 68 structure fires, 43 vehicle fires. We ran 2,993 medical calls. We had 676 motor vehicle accidents through November. 380 of those were with injury, 296 were without injury, and 36 extrications. And I've seen that number go up substantially over the last few years. Total call volume for this year through November was 5,820 calls. The next page shows all the responses by volunteers, total county call volume. We've had 148 structure fires, 88 brush fires, 107 illegal burns, and that's something that's really going up with population. And like Mr. Cope was talking about, people dumping trash, well, they're also burning it, and a lot of other illegal materials. And I wanted to let our public know that the only thing you can legally burn in this county is vegetation. In other words, if good Lord didn't grow it or produce it, you can't burn it. 93 total vehicle fires. We had 22 water rescues. We've had 1,167 motor vehicle accidents. 40 of those were with extrication, and 324 fire alarms. For a total call volume of 7,258 calls. The next sheet is what we turn into codes of the homes that were damaged by fire. Next page is a document that my fire investigator created. He pulled this off of the ESO reporting software. We had 19 illegal burns for the month of November, and that's going up, and we're getting a lot of calls too for people complaining about smoke, not being able to get outside during the nice weather because of health problems and smoke. People, a lot of clearing going on, more subdivisions coming in and then burning vegetation, but also a lot of illegal burns. And then the last page is our fire investigator report. And with cold weather, structure fires have been on the rise too. With ending with my fire investigation report, that concludes my report.
Any questions on this report? Mayor?
There was several multi-vehicle backup on I-24 wreck. Was that last Thursday, Friday night, and did we respond, or was that inside the city?
It was, I believe it was Christmas Eve night. There was a 5-car MVA right there at Milk Center Parkway. It was inside the city. Okay. There were several injuries in that accident, and it had this interstate shut down for a little bit. I had a lot of people call and ask about it.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
To approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion approved. Commissioner Rather, have a second.
Second.
Have a second. Commissioner Phillips, call the roll.
Commissioner Gammon,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorley,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips,
Yes.
Commissioner Sherino,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Hope everybody had a good Christmas, and hope everybody has a good big New Year. Better than last one anyway.
Hey, thank you, sir. I don't see Peter here. Anything on radios or?
I'm here on Zoom.
He's on, okay. Yes, sir. Anything?
I believe what you have in front of you. Has been changed since then. We had a delay in the microwave mounting parts. Those are in. We're expected to have the sheriff's office and Smyrna completed the week of January 4th. Last week we were able to get 3 of the 5 county sites online. That was Eagleville, Bradeville Road, which is Long Ridge Tower, and Milton. The dispatch center upgrades have been pushed to the second week, starting the second week of January now. And both dispatch centers have configured their new console setup, so they'll be a step quicker into getting those implemented. We're halfway through the vehicle installs. Well, excuse me, we pretty much completed the fire and EMS installs and have begun working on the sheriff's office installs already. And the initial deployment for the principals' radios, portables, and school systems has been deployed, and we're working on the crisis teams right now. We're looking towards the second week of January to complete the remaining base installs at some of the other facilities in the county and the schools. And we're still waiting on the fiber connection to EMS dispatch. We've got half the link up with Comcast, and we're still waiting on the complete link from AT&T. And we've also been able to get Laverne's information imported into the radio system, which will allow them capabilities on the radio system for mutual aid responses.
Okay. Any questions anyone has? Okay, no, appreciate it. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Okay. All right, OSHA. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you.
OSHA report for the November 2020. You will see that there's a total of 10 accidents. For year to date, you'll see a total of 147,000. On the OSHA log summary, you'll see a total recordables of 106. Restricted day claims, you'll see 61. Lost day claims, 24. Other recordables, 21. On the next page, you'll see on-the-job injury claims year to date. For 2020, you see 147 compared to 2019, 252, and 2018, 247. On-the-job incurred dollars, which is estimated of what the claims would be paid out, you will see for 2020, 771, compared to 2019, 475, and compared to 2018, 551. On the next page, you'll see the cause of the injuries. Total Board of Education, there were 7. County General, there was 3. And in the County General, 2 was the Sheriff's Office and 1 was EMS. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
Okay, sir. Any questions on the report? If not, I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Commissioner Fee moves to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Rather. Call the roll.
Commissioner Gorley?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Sherino?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Gammon?
Yes.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Thank you. Y'all have a happy new year.
Thank you, sir. Is there other business? If not, I want to wish everybody a happy new year and hope it is one that's a lot better than what we did in 2020. I'll adjourn this meeting.